Thank you, Raquel. Thank you, team of Open Mind Conferences. I think you do a really great job. And most of all, thank you for being here, because without the audience, I think a conference is not really a conference. Still looking for my presenter, there it is. Before I start, I have one request. Do not believe a single word of what I'm about to say. And that's not a joke, because we've been believing so many things that were actually lies. So if you think that I'm an authority, then you're wrong. There's only but one authority, and that is yourself. Everybody is the authority of his own truth, and nobody else. So having said that, I will present my truth to you, but please do not believe a word. Maybe you know this story. It's in the Bible. This was not a wise man. He built his house on sand, and then it started to rain, and the house eventually collapsed. This was a wise man. He built his house on rock, and the house was able to remain. This is not about belief. Actually, everybody who believes builds his house on sand, because the house is understanding of the whole of reality. And the moment you believe in a religion, believe in a politician, believe in university science, believe in the house doctor, believe in journalists, whatever. As long as you're believing, you build your house on sand. The moment you start to understand the truth, that means which is logic, which is factual, which you can build upon, then you've built your house on rock. And that rock, to me, Raquel already said it, is holy science, the science of the whole. And some people hear holy as if it is something sacred, but to me, holy, without a W and a double L, means full of holes. And holy actually fills those holes and makes it complete, makes it a wholeness. This book, I'm going to talk about this book, of course. Some people think it's only 2,500 years old. Well, that's true for most of it. But the beginning of the book, and I mean the first chapters of Genesis, are much older. They come from ancient Sumer. And they have nothing to do with the Hebrew people. Nothing. The first book, the first 5 books, they're called in Greek Pentateuch, means the 5 scrolls. And those 5 books are also part in the Hebrew Bible. It's called the Torah, the first 5 books of the Tanakh. And it's also part of the Islamic, the Quran. So these 5 books must be really important. Some people refer to them as the law of this reality. Yeah, I'm going to talk about Genesis, and I start with Genesis chapter 1, and then later on I'll continue by showing other parts of these 5 books. I think this is a really important book. It was written by Percy John Wiseman. He was a UK air commander. He was stationed in Iraq. And I think he had a lot of spare time because he studied cuneiform. And he studied the ancient writings. And he discovered that what is written down in Genesis was actually part of the writings from ancient Sumer. And he tried to tell that to the world, that those stories were much older. He wrote this book, but it hardly got any attention. Fortunately, his son later became a professor in London. He thought the work of his father was that important that he republished his book of his father. And then it got a little bit more attention. But still, most people have no idea that the first chapters of Genesis have nothing to do with Hebrew people, nothing at all. So the story is about twice as old as many people think. It's not 2,500 years, but it's probably 5,000 years, and it was written down on clay tablets in ancient Sumer. And each of those stories ended with a standard sentence. That sentence is, "This is the total doth of," meaning this is the history record of something. But most people who study the Bible have no idea that is the ending sentence. It's like we go to the movies and we see the end. Then we go, okay, we can put our jacket on and go home. It's over. This is an ending sentence, not a starting sentence, as most people who study the scripture think it is. That's a big mistake. And the ending sentences, you can find them here. Yeah, it's a little bit detailed, so I'm not going all those details, but you can find them, and then you understand the structure. And in total, there are 50 books, but when you look at the first 37 chapters of Genesis, there are actually only 11 stories. So why do we make out of 11 stories 37 chapters? That's strange. And I discover now that only the first 11 chapters are genuine. The others are, I think, invented. Everything that I'm talking about now you can also find in my ebook. It's a really big one. It's 520 pages. If you're interested in it and you can read English really good, then I advise you to to buy it, because there's so much more to tell. I can easily talk for a whole week, and I've done it in France and in Romania without repeating myself. So much information is there, and it's getting more and more. The final sentence of the first real story ends with these words: "This is the historical account of the heavens and the earth when they were created." It's not in chapter 1, it's actually in chapter 2, verse 4. But it should have been at the end of the first story. So this is the conclusion, this is the end sentence. So that means that the story is about the creation of the heavens and the earth. And the plural S is really important. Sometimes the plural S is forgotten. For instance, in Dutch, they made a single heaven, but that's not true. There are more than one heaven. And the first sentence is, "In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth." This is not just the first sentence. This is actually a summary. This is the abstract of the whole story, like we are still doing it with scientific papers. We have an abstract, and if you like the abstract, then you can read the whole paper. So this is the abstract. This is actually the summary of the whole story. The creation by God of the heavens, plural S, and the earth. And actually the earth is one of the heavens, one of the 7 heavens. It starts with day 0, and that's the day before the creation, because nothing is created in day 0. Nothing has started yet. The creation has not started. The creation starts at day 1. And then heaven number 6 is created, because it starts from heaven 7, the highest one. That's not created because it was already there. And from the top, it creates heavens below. So on day 1, heaven 6, on day 2, heaven 5, day 3, heaven 4, day heaven 3, and so on, all the way until day 6. Day 6 is the final day of creation, and then the lowest heaven is created. And you can also refer to the lowest heaven as the hell. And most people who are unaware of this are in the lowest heaven. They are in hell. The church tried to scare them to say, if you don't do what we think is good, then you will go to hell, but you're already in hell. Just put on your television and you know you're in hell. And these 6 layers, or actually 7 with the top 7, these are the 7 tones of the scale. And everything is actually the same. Holy science shows that you can take any subject, you can connect it with other subjects, and it's all the same. That's the beauty of it. That's why I write so many books, because I constantly discover new connections. Many people do not know that these are not just random words. They're not syllables. They have meaning, because they're abbreviations of Latin words. But hardly anyone speaks Latin anymore, so nobody knows. The Do is an abbreviation of Dominus. And Dominus means the one who's dominating. So who's dominating the whole of reality? That's of course the Creator, the Almighty Creator. And that's our Lord. I don't believe in our Lord, to be really clear. I know about the Lord. Yeah, I don't believe anything. So I don't believe in the Lord either. But I want to know. Sidera means all stars. It's a Latin word for all stars. And yeah, we see many stars around us here, but we're not up in the sky. But the universe is actually the whole of all the stars. And actually one star is mostly a star system or a cluster of star systems. But that's the completeness of stars. So that's the level of C. So we have the highest level, which is God, and then under the universe. And under the universe we find Lactea, and Lactea means milk, or milky. So that's our Milky Way. So Milky Way is under the level of the universe. And then we have Sol. Sol is not an abbreviation because it's a Latin word, meaning the sun. And I refer to the sun as Helios, like the Greeks did. So Sol is our solar system, which is a part of the Milky Way. And then we have Vata, and Vata is just the same as the English word fate. And our fate is ruled by the planets. If you know astrology, then you know that Saturn and Jupiter and Mars and so on, they are in different houses and in different star systems, and that is creating a kind of energy. And if you're sensitive to it, then you can understand that influence. So this is our planetary system. They influence us. And then we have microcosm in English, and that's of course the world we live in. Yeah, Gaia, the planet we live on top. And the last one is Regina, and that also means to rule. So if you are at the lowest level, in the level of Re, then you are ruled over by the government or any other people try to fool you. And if you're fooled, then you are governed. If you're sovereign, if you understand that nobody can rule over you, or at least doesn't have a right to do so, then you are free. But then you're already at this level. Most people who are ruled over are at the lowest level. They are in hell. And the hell, you can say, is ruled by the moon. They're all lunatics, because the moon, Luna, is ruling at that level. I don't want to insult anybody, it's just I'm scientist, so I'm just describing. Maybe you know these Petrushka dolls? Yeah? You open a doll and then, whoa, there's another one. And then you open it, oh, there's another one. And it goes on. That's just our reality. Most people live in the smallest doll. They have no idea that the world is much bigger. Yeah, they have this on their head and they only see a really small part. But the moment you open your consciousness, you come to the second level. And then you connect with the whole world, with this planet. Yeah, you understand that Gaia is our mother. And if you open further to this level, then you understand the influence of the planets. And they influence everything here. But you can go higher. And then you come under the sun. Yeah, you can call the sun Jesus. I will explain that later. I call the sun Helios, but you can also call it Santa Claus. It's all the same. It's just a personification for the light, the consciousness of light. Then you are here. But you can go further. This is what the Maya called the Hunapku. Yeah, the center of the galaxy. All the energies we get are actually coming from the center of our galaxy, through the sun and through the planets. And you can go all the way to the whole of the universe. Then your consciousness is just as big as our universe. And there's one final step, and then you go even beyond our universe. And then you become one with our Creator. And then you have reached the highest level. And I call that level wholeness consciousness, the consciousness of the whole of everything. I need some water because my throat is getting dry. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through the text of chapter 1 of Genesis. I will not read everything aloud, but I'm just focusing on the main words there. It says, now the earth was formed, unformed and void. So it was not formed yet. There was nothing. It was void. It was empty. Okay, that makes sense, because before you create, there's nothing. Yeah, it's unformed and it's void, empty. And the darkness was upon the face of the deep. What is the deep? The deep is everything below level 7, the seventh heaven. So everything below the seventh heaven is the deep. And there's nothing. You can see there's nothing here. And the earth is also here, is down. Oh, I'm sorry. The earth is actually level 2, so it's not created either. And the Spirit of God hovered over the face of the waters. The waters is actually a little bit difficult, because the waters, you have to understand, is light. When the Bible, especially Genesis 1, talks about the waters, it means the universal light. Because light is flowing through the universe like water is flowing through this reality. So waters means universal light. And the light was not there. So it was dark. That's all before the creation started. This all heaven number 7, the seventh heaven. Then the creation starts at day 1. Yeah, and God said, the creation is started with the words, logos. Let there be light. So the first thing that is created is light, meaning the light of the stars. So that's Sidera, the level of the universe. And also the duality, because there was darkness, and then there is light created. So then you get a duality between light and darkness. And that's what it says. Light is called day, and the darkness is called night. Don't take it literal, it's the duality between light and darkness. Before this creation, there was only unity. God is unity. But the moment God starts to create, there is duality. And this is Sidera, all the stars. And we know that it's about 150 billion light years in diameter. At least that's what astrophysics is telling us. So that's really big. Yeah, and they also talk about the Big Bang. Big Bang happened 30.7 billion years ago. But in 30.7 billion years, light can only travel this distance. So how is it possible, if there was a Big Bang here, that light is already here? Then it traveled 5 times the speed of light. Astrophysics realized this too, so they said there was not one Big Bang in the middle. No, there were many Big Bangs all around the place. Yeah, to me, that's such a silly answer. I don't take them serious anymore. And I call the ruler at this level, because the level at the highest level I refer to as God, I refer to the ruler at this level as Tao, Dao, yeah, yin and yang together. Then at day 2, it's created, it says, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters. What does that mean? Well, the waters means light. The firmament is the total of the universe. And there is something in the middle of the lights, in the middle of the stars. That what is in the middle of the stars is our own star system, our galaxy. That's what is referring to here. So it's a creation of our star system, our Milky Way. That's the level of Milky. And you can see it actually indeed as a kind of, in the midst of the waters. Here are waters here are stars here, and here are stars. And this diagonal line, that's actually our own star system. So in the midst of the stars is our own star system. And this is how it looks from above. It's not a real picture because we don't send satellites that high up. So it looks like a kind of turning system. It's flat, but it's also turning. And this is how you see it from the side. In the middle it's a little bit thicker, and in the side it goes away. And we are about somewhere here from the middle, so we're on the outside a little bit. This is 100,000 light years, and the thickness in the middle is about 3,000. And I refer to the center as Hunab Ku. That's what the Maya used to refer to as the creator, because they talk about this level of creation. And Hunab Ku actually means the one giver of movement and measure. And this is an image from the Maya. And you can say movement is time, because the moment you move, there is time created, and measure is space. So actually, time and space is created at this level. Oops. This is our neighboring galaxy, Andromeda. This is a real picture from a Hubble telescope. So these were all, artist impressions, but this one is a real one, real picture. And if you look at the constellation of Andromeda from Cassiopeia, you take a kind of arrow here. This smog here, if you zoom in really many times, then you see this. Yeah, this is what you see with the naked eye. This is if you really have a really powerful telescope. So now we go to day 3, and then it said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place. So in the night we see all kinds of lights everywhere, just like we see here on the walls. But in daytime we only see one really big light. And that light is so bright that we cannot see the stars anymore. So that's what's happened. The lights from all the stars seem to be gathered together onto one place. So it's referring to our sun, the sun Helios. Sol in Latin. And here you see that light in the center. And it's so bright that we cannot see the surrounding stars anymore. Actually, we see a kind of blue sky now because of the light. And the diameter is about 320 AU, astronomical units, and 1 AU is the distance from our home planet, Terra, to the sun Helios. So just like we did in the old days, 1 thumb, that's a measure. Well, this is a kind of astronomical thumb. just the distance between our home planet and the sun. And this is 320 times as big. And it takes 500 light seconds. That's what they say, but I have a different opinion, but I will not go into that. Let's say more than 8 minutes difference. If you travel with the speed of light and you go now away, then in 8 minutes and a few seconds, you'll be at the sun. And if you look inside, you see a kind of pancake, and all the planets are going round. But actually it's a sphere, and in that sphere there's a flat system. So in the center we find the sun. I refer to the sun as Helios, like the ancient Greek did. And on day 4 we continue, we see that the planets are created. And perhaps some of you are familiar with astrology. I think it's a really powerful system. And it's telling you the influence of the planets in relation with the stars behind them, the stars of the zodiac. So it's a kind of flat, rotating system where planets can be at different positions. This is an ancient way. The ancient people thought that our planet was in the center and that everything was going around us, that we were in the center of the universe. Well, that's true. From your own subjective perspective, it's true. And each of us is in the center of his own world. So that's true. But we now know that it's not a correct representation of the dynamics. But for the influences, it's correct. Yeah, if you study astrology, then you see that this makes a lot of sense. And the biggest planet of them all is Jupiter. And Jupiter, you can say, is the ruler at this level. Ancient Greek referred to him as Zeus. So Zeus is, you can say, the king or the ruler over the planets. And on day 5 we continue. It's about the microcosm, and God said, let the water swarm with swarms of living creatures. What does that mean? It means that at the level of microcosm there are many, many, many living creatures. It swarms with living creatures here. And that's true. This is the microcosm. The macrocosm is the whole of universe, and in the macrocosm there's a microcosm, and that's our home planet. And I refer to her as Terra. And she's the ruler of our home planet. You can also call her Gaia, which literally means Mother Terra, or Mother Earth. And the Greeks said Sophia, and actually Sophia means wisdom. So if you connect with this planet, you become really wise. Many people at the level of the lowest level, people do not connect. They just think, we can use anything here. Well, if you connect with her, it's a different way. And our mother is also protecting us, like our Father, who art in heaven, which is the sun Helios, is protecting us with a big magnetic field. Also our mother is protecting us with a magnetic field. Without a magnetic field, too much radiation will come here and we will not be able to live here. And it's true, there are swarms of living creatures, and you see here mostly mammals. But if you also count the insects and go on, it's incredible. There is so much life on this planet, it's hardly imaginable. And that's what we live. It's a beautiful, beautiful ecosystem. And then at the lowest level, the last day of the creation, I'm not going to read it aloud, but there has been a huge translation error. Because in the official version it says, and God said, let us make man. But God is not talking about himself as us. In all the previous verses, God is referring to himself or herself or itself, because God is neither female nor male. Not in a plural sense, but in a singular sense, because God is one. There's only one. So God is the level of oneness. God will never refer to him, her, or itself as us. So that's that is a big mistake. What really happened was that there were gods with a lowercase g coming to this planet, and they created us. They created us out of the most advanced ape beings. That's what the truth is. I'm not going to talk about it in this lecture, because then I need another 4 hours. But there are many more people who understand it. It's completely impossible that nature created human beings out of the most advanced ape beings. They call about the missing link. Well, that's completely nonsense. If you believe that there's an orca who came on land and became a kind of cow, black and white, and that cow traveled to China and became the panda bear, If you believe that that's possible, then you can certainly believe that it's possible that humans develop naturally out of ape beings. But if you think that it's not possible, then there's something else here. So it's about man, and we can rule over. If we are doing what we are supposed to do, then we can be the shepherd on this planet. We can rule. That's our heritage. That's our birthright. But if we don't know that, then somebody is ruling over us. It's just like eat or be eaten, but then ruling. Either you rule over, or you are ruled over by something else. That's the whole story. And if you, to understand the dynamics, the moon Luna is ruling over our home planet. Yeah, the water is somehow pulled towards her, creating flood. So this is the default ruler, Luna. And I can talk about the moon phases, but I think that will be going too far. If you understand the moon cycle, then you know when to put seed in the soil, and when to harvest, or even when to cut your hair or cut your nails. Everything has a beautiful logic. So that's all related to the moon. Yeah, Rudolf Steiner, maybe you know him. He did a lot of work about this. And there's a yang and a yin phase. The yin phase is the ingoing phase, and the yang phase is the outgoing phase. Yin and yang are extremely important. If you want to know more, then I advise you to study my books, because it's all about this. But this is the phase of the female, and this is the phase of the male. Ingoing, outgoing. And part of the time she is outside the magneto tail, and sometimes she's in. That's why she sometimes looks much bigger than other times. It all has to do with where she is in relation to us. And the distance is quite big. NASA is claiming that there were people with an Apollo rocket went all the way here and came back. It's complete nonsense. They never went higher than 500 kilometers, and everything was recorded in the studio. Not going to explain that here either, I'm just saying it. But it's completely impossible to go there with that kind of silly technology. The tides are ruled over, and you cannot stop it. You cannot push the tides back. In the same way, you cannot stop government trying to rule over you if you don't understand the dynamics. You need to understand. You need to raise your consciousness to a higher level in order to get rid of that terror, or that intimidation, or whatever. Theft, you can also call it theft. Maybe they send letters to you. They don't send it to me anymore, so I don't allow them to steal from me, but maybe you still allow that. So it's everything is good, let me say that. There's nothing right and wrong, just, it's an experience. So what do we see? The 6 levels of creation. It starts with a sphere. Our universe is a sphere, at least that's what we think. Then there is a disk created. That's our galaxy, it's turning around. Then our solar system is a sphere, the magnetic field of the sun around us. In that sphere we find a disk again, the planets going around. Then, of course, our home planet is a sphere, and then finally there is a kind of disk created in the relations with the moon Luna. Sphere is a female, is a yin shape, and disk is a male shape. So it's a beautiful alternating rhythm between yin and yang. You don't have to remember everything I'm going to tell here, because I'm going to tell much, much more. It's just a way to get knowing holy science. If you like it, there are more than 50 hours of video of me on YouTube. I explain everything in detail. I'm just give you an impression. So the first chapter of Genesis, you can summarize it with this picture. One picture says more than 1,000 words. Maybe it's more than 1,000. This is the universe, Sidera. This is the galaxy, Lactea. This is the solar system, Sol. This is our home planet. This is, Vata, the planets. This is our home planet, Gaia, and this is the moon, Luna. Si, La, Sol, Fa, Mi, Re. Some people actually think that we live on a flat world. It's crazy, but actually the flat world theory is getting more and more popular. I know it's a CIA experiment to see how stupid people really have become. But it's shocking to see how stupid people have become. If you look at the level of television, I don't understand anymore. If I compare it to when I was a little bit younger, I think there was some level there, but it's completely, it's nonsense anymore. Anyway, so you cannot fall off, but if you think this is a real representation of this world, then you live in a flat world, in the sense that you don't have any depth or any height. Yeah, your consciousness is flat. And that's what the normal people Frank talked about. They're flatliners, flat world people. I don't think that's normal, but that's my perception. Yeah, so this is the do all the way down to re. And under the re you get another do. Yeah, most people look do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do, they go up. But seen from the creator, it's actually going down. Do, si, la, sol, fa, mi, re. And then do again. And you can refer to them as a different kind of gods. Yeah, this is the supreme God, the God over everything, our Lord. And then you can go all the way down. And depending on which God is ruling over you. If you have the highest consciousness, then you have connected with God. You have become one with God. Actually, you become God or part of God. And the lowest four, re, mi, fa, sol, these four gods, so to say, we can see with our own eyes. They are in the physical reality. These three are in the metaphysical reality. They're on top of the physical. And these are the four gods at the lowest levels. The sun is the energy of fire, Helios. Jupiter is a gas planet, so that's air. We live on a very watery planet, wet planet. About 70% of the surface is wet, water, just like our own physical bodies. It's also about 70%, so that's the same, water. And physical, Earth is the moon Luna. It's hard, it's rock, so that's physical. And the distances are also remarkable, but I'm not going to into all those details. And these are the four aggregation states of matter. Most people do not know about the plasma state, but actually the plasma is the most important. Everything we now start to understand about how to create free energy has everything to do with plasma. Yeah, many more people are understanding it. Nikola Tesla, but I can mention more names. That's what we're going to do. This is the next revolution, plasma revolution. Yeah, we first were walking on solid, then we made boats, then we made airplanes. Now we're going to make spaceships based on plasma. Not by putting a lot of gasoline behind us and lighting it and then hoping that we will survive. That's the most stupid technology ever invented. It's crazy. Yeah, we're going to use the magnetic field and create dynamic interaction with our environment. Or UFOs, you can call them like that. Yeah, flying saucers, that's what we'll do. And it was already created in the Second World War by Victor Schauberger. And then it was brought to the USA by Operation Paperclip. So the technology is already here. But what we see with Apollo and NASA and the space shuttle is, you can laugh about it, but actually it's quite sad. Yeah, real technology is already here. Let's look at numbers. I'm fond of numbers. I'm a numbers guy. So maybe you're bored with numbers, then put your fingers in your ears. The number of God is 1. There's only one God. God is 1. Yeah, that's a very deep insight if you understand that. If you say God is 1, then you know actually everything. And what God created was the duality. Yeah, you can call it yin or yang or any other things, but there's the duality. And that duality has been divided further and further, but the same principle all over again. And then we get the Trinity. The Trinity is the level of Lactea. Yeah, time is a Trinity, but also space is a Trinity. And that's what we see here. And then we get a doubling. From Trinity we go to 6. And the level of Sun, Helios, is 6. And this symbol is also the seal of Solomon. And Solomon refers to the sun. Has nothing to do with the Hebrew, again. So that's a double duality, or triple duality. A double Trinity or triple duality, I have to say it correct. 1 is the first number, 2 is the first division. Between the bow, you can say, is heaven, and the flat is earth. This is the beginning, middle part, and end, so this is Trinity. 4th is the first encompass, because in between there it's enclosed. And 5, this is a right angle, this is a male angle, yang, and this is a female angle, round. So this is the marriage, the first marriage between yin and yang. That's the cipher 5. Everything has a reason. There's logic behind everything. And 6 is the first perfect number. Why? It's 1 plus 2 plus 3, but it's also 1 times 2 times 3. And there's no other number that has that same beauty. So this is the first perfect number, 6, the number of the sun, Helios. Yeah, duality of triplets or a trinity of pairs is the same. So this is actually, in a nutshell, or not really a nutshell, the contents of chapter 1. That's all about that. Creation of the oneness, but the oneness was already there. So from the oneness, the duality is created. Then 3, then 6, then 12, then 24, and 28. So this seal is the seal of the sun, Solomon. And we have 12 signs in the zodiac. Yeah, so that's correct here. We have 24 hours in a daytime. That's the level of our home planet, 24 hours in one rotation. And 48 is the lowest one. There's a book written, The 48 Laws of Power. If you are at the lowest level, then there are 48 laws ruling over you. You can say the higher your consciousness, the less laws apply to you. The lower your consciousness, the more laws apply to you. And that's about freedom. Freedom means less laws that are trying to rule over you. If you have complete freedom, there's not a single law that is trying to manipulate you. And we can also look at holy geometry or sacred geometry. It starts with a circle, and the circle of oneness. In Islam, it's forbidden to make an image of God, or Allah, but that's of course the circle. So if this is forbidden, then I should be punished by now. To me, I said it before, holy means full of holes. Holy means, with a W-double-L, whole of everything. That's the circle. Sacred. This knowledge has been here on this planet for many, many thousands of years. But it has been kept secret. But it's the same, secret and sacred. And to heal means to whole again, to make it whole. That's what healing is all about. So you can call holy science also healing science, or sacred science, or secret science. Well, it's not secret because it's public now. So 1, that's the 1. And then we go from the 1 to the 2. What we put, we take the anchor pass, we put it in the middle, and we make a second circle. This is the symbol of 2, the duality. And when you look at the middle, then it's kind of this shape, the Physica Pisces. Some people associate it with Christianity. Well, Christianity hijacked the symbol, just like Judaism hijacked the Solomon symbol, the 6-pointed star. Physica Pisces. But to me, this is the symbol of duality. You can also refer like this, a circle divided in 2, a yin half and a yang half, completely pairing up with each other. So 1 circle, 2 circle, and now we put the middle here. And then we get a 3rd circle. This is a symbol for Trinity. So geometry of La. Yeah, you see a triangle in the middle, or when you see the points where they cross each other. The triangle is a symbol for Trinity. And some churches, you see this symbol in windows. Yeah, it's also part of this figure. And I refer to it as a circle with a triangle in the middle. To me, this is a symbol for Trinity. The whole is 1, and the Trinity are 3 aspects of the oneness. So 1, 2, 3. Now we continue. We put the middle here. Make another one. No. Who thinks this is really special? Not really, yeah? This. What about this? This is the geometry of Sol. And it's hexad because there was 1 circle in the middle and now we have 6 around it. 6, hexad means 6. So this is the geometry of 6. And we get also a hexagon when we connect the points. And of course our honeybees know everything about it. Yeah, they love this shape, and everywhere in nature we find this. And if you connect the points with triangles, then you get the seal of Solomon. Sol, on. Actually there are 3 ancient words all referring to the sun. Yeah, this is a Latin word, this is a Coptic word, and this is actually Om from India. So this is the symbol of the sun Helios. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is the level of Sol. Now we continue. Oh, first, Sol also means seed of life. Abbreviation of seed of life is Sol. And this is the seed of life. Is that a coincidence or not? Continue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 around it. Not really, yeah? We continue. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Whoa. This is another beautiful sacred symbol. And this is the geometry of Fa, the dozen, because there are now 12 circles around the previous one. 1 over 12. And if you make all the circles complete, because if you look at the middle one, this has in total 12 petals, 6 in the middle and 6 around. But if you look, for instance, at the top one, it only has 3. So that's not completely imbalanced. But if you give each circle 12 petals, then you get this symbol. And this is also an ancient symbol. Yeah, it's found in Egypt. And it's called the flower of life. The previous one was the seed of life. This is the flower of life. And I refer to it as the circle divided in 12 equal parts, because it's the 12 oneness. Next one, I'm not drawing all the circles, but now we get 24 around it. This is the geometry of me. Yeah, circle divided in 24 parts. And this is also special, because if you focus on the main circle in the middle, and then you see in 6 directions 2, then you get 13 central circles, so to say. And these 13 circles, they create a special geometry as well. And 13 is also a very important, you can call it sacred number. Yeah, it's not an unlucky number, it's the number of the wholeness. Yeah, maybe you know this. This is the seal of Metatron, of the cube of Metatron, I have to say it. Because if you look at it, it looks a little bit like a three-dimensional cube. Yeah, of course it's two-dimensional, but if you imagine it, you pull this towards you. I hope I can do it. Did I do it? And you see a cube. And that's why it's called the cube of Metatron. But not only the cube is actually one of the 5 Platonic solids. You can also see the other ones as well. That's what you see here. Yeah, here you see the cube. This is the dodecahedron. This is the icosahedron. This is the tetrahedron. And this is the, this is the octahedron, this is the tetrahedron. And if you see 2 tetrahedra, then you have the one behind it as well. And that's called a star tetrahedron. Yeah, or Merkaba, it's the same. And the 2-dimensional shadow of that is, of course, this. So in this cube of Metatron, you can find all the other Platonic solids as well. It's really remarkable. Yeah, it's very therapeutic to draw all these circles with a compass and then make all the lines. Yeah, it'll take you a half a day, but then your mind is completely free, I hope. Yeah, so this is the tetrahedron. The double tetrahedron, the star tetrahedron. It's also called the Merkaba, the vehicle of light. Light vehicle. And then the last one, 48. Yeah, you can count them. If you watch this at home, just stop the video and count them. You'll find 48. So that's the circle divided in 48 parts. And when you look at cymatics, for instance, shape that is influenced by vibration, by music. Yeah, maybe in the internet you can find many things. You just put some sand on a plate, and then you make the vibration go up and up and up, and then you see all kinds of beautiful patterns emerge. It always has these 6 shapes, this 6-sided shape, this hexagonal shape. So what is actually being done is the creation. The creation starts with the oneness, and it creates a lot of diversity. So it starts with one and goes to many. The opposite is what we are supposed to do. We come from many and we go back all the way to one. That's the stairway of ascension. That is our, we can do that. You don't have to do it, you're free. But if you want to make contact with God, then you have to do the opposite than what God did. Opposite of creation is becoming unity again. So God is at the top. You can call the top everything. But God is also at the bottom, which is nothing. So the 2 does of the scale, they are nothing and everything. And God is nothing and everything at the same time. Our mind cannot comprehend that, how something can be everything and nothing at the same time. But God is showing us that it's possible. So the higher you are, the more liberation there is. Yeah, because these are some kind of laws, so to say. And if your consciousness is high, then you have only a few laws. The highest law is always applicable for everyone. That's the law of oneness, of wholeness. So you cannot free yourself from that law, but how bad is that law actually? But the lower you are, the more laws there are. And yeah, maybe you know this fairy tale about Hansel and Gretel. Yeah, they wanted to find their home, the way home back. So he put some breadcrumbs on the floor. But unluckily, the birds were eating them. And I think we did something too, but we forgot our way home. That's why we come to conference like this and we start to remind each other how we can come back home again. Because that's what we all want. We want to go home again. We are here far away from home. But if you realize that you are already at home at the same time, then you understand it. 7 days of the week. The days of the week, they have special meaning. And they are related to the stars, but some stars are not really stars. Yeah, this is a real star, and Betelgeuse is of course a really big star too. But here you see Jupiter and Mars, Saturn, Venus, Mercury. They appear as stars, but they are just bright lights in the night sky reflecting the sunlight. So they're not really stars. But if you don't have knowledge, you think they're stars as well. And these stars, these so-called stars, these planets, they are named after in the days of the week. And these are the 7 days of the week. Starts with the moon Luna, and it goes all the way to Saturn. But if you look at the English names, it's not really clear. Yeah, of course, Moon Day must be Monday, and Sunday must be in the middle, but the others are not that clear. But if you go to French, it becomes more clearly, because Mercury, Mercredi is Mercury. Yeah, Wednesday. And Vendredi is Friday, Venus. Freya, we'll come back to that. And Mardi is Mars-di, the day of Mars. And Jeudi is Jupiter-di, the day of Jupiter. In Italian it's even more clear because they say Giove-di. If this was a lecture in Italian and I would ask anyone what is the day of Jupiter, then everybody would say, of course, Giove-di. It's clear, but in English, many people don't know it. It's the day of Jupiter. And Saturn Day, if we put an extra N here, then it's clear. Saturn Day is the day of Saturn, but we say Saturday. And the ordering is a little bit different. But you see the odd numbers here and the even numbers here, so there must be a clear rhythm, and that's true. This is the rhythm, because the moon Luna is connected with Saturn, 1 and 6. Mercury is connected with Jupiter, 3 and 4. And Venus is, of course, connected with Mars. Yeah, we say men come from Mars and female come from Venus. So that's 5 and 2. And the 7 in the middle. If you add these numbers up, they're all 7. Just like the dice. Yeah, if you add up the opposite sides of the dice, always get 7 as well. So that's the beautiful rhythm. Again, this menorah has nothing to do with the Hebrew culture. It's an ancient insight. These are the names from ancient civilizations, Sumerian, Babylonian, and so on. I will not go into detail, but some people think that Enki and Enlil were really struggling, that there were two aliens coming to this world and had a trouble. No, they were planets. All personifications of the planets. That's what all the stories are about. So this is Luna, at least I refer to her as Luna, but these are, every culture gave a name to this beautiful satellite of our home planet. In Babylonia it's called Sin. And if you believe or if you worship her, then you are a sinner. Yeah? The Judaic religion is actually a moon religion, it's a lunar religion. So they're all sinners. I think that's funny. Yeah, I refer to her as Luna. This is Mars, Tuesday, and in Nordic ancient stories it's called Tyr. The personification is Tyr, and that's why we got Thursday, and Thursday actually became Tuesday. Or in Dutch, Dinsdag. I'm not sure what the Danish word is for Tuesday, but it must be something with Tyr. See? Mercury, Wednesday, named after Wodan, Wodan's Day, and it's shortened into Wednesday, Wodan's Day, Wednesday. But maybe in Danish it's even more. Beautiful. I should have studied Danish a little bit. Excuse me that I didn't do it. This is the day of Jupiter, and that's Thor. So actually it's Thor's day, the man with the hammer. Thor's day, Thursday. And then we have Freya, Freya's day, and that became Friday. Some people think we're freedom on Friday. No, it's Freya, Venus. Beautiful. She's the most brightest light in the sky in the night. It's beautiful. Beautiful light. And then, of course, Saturn Day, or Kronos. In ancient Greece it was called Kronos because he's keeper of the time, the timekeeper. He's the slowest one going round. The other ones we cannot see. We cannot see Uranus, for instance. But it's also called El. Elite, El, is actually referring to Saturn. And also Israel means leading to El. So they're also worshipping Saturn. Yeah, and Baal. Baal is the same. I'm getting a visitor here. And this is the sun. Sunday, Helios day, or Sol day. And when you put them in a shape like this, then you have Monday, Moon, Luna, Tuesday, Mars, Wednesday, Mercury, Thursday, Jupiter, Friday, Venus, Saturday, Saturn, and Sunday, Helios. Beautiful. I think they should learn this at primary school. I gave once a lecture on a special school, and children loved it. But most children don't have any clue where the names of the week come from. This is basic knowledge about the planets. And you see the females or the yin planets are here. These are the male planets or the reflectors. And the only star, the real star, you can also call it Jesus Christ superstar, is in the middle. That's where the star should be, of course. Yeah, and this is the speed. This is the fastest going round. And this is the slowest going round. This is about 30 and a half days. And this is 30 and a half years. And everything is in between. Perfect logic. And you can also put the sun in the middle. And then you get a female triangle with pointed down with the female stars and the female lights and the male lights with a upright pointing triangle, which is male. Yeah, just the same thing. So now we go to the 10 Commandments, because that's actually the subject of this lecture. And we find those 10 Commandments in two different places. In Exodus 20, verse 1 up to 17, and in also Deuteronomy 5, 4 to 21. So they are that important. They are copied twice. Yeah, and you can compare them, and they're almost exactly the same. So that's so important, because we should not forget about them. And many people don't know the structure. I will show the structure. I will first show the structure and then the meaning. Because if you understand the logic, then you understand why they are so important. It has nothing to do with belief. And if you don't follow those 10 Commandments, you will not be punished. You will punish yourself. That's how it works. Because you break the rules, and the rules then work against you. But if you follow the rules, then the rules, they support you. They work in your favor. That's all. Yeah, if you want to know more, can I also point here? This is my book I have with me, and I explain them in full detail. And everything else I've explained to is also in that book. You can buy it for normally 127 kronen. But now it's 110, a special conference price. So if you want it, please be my guest and buy it, because I think I cannot explain it in full detail, but I'll try my best anyway. It has to do with God and freedom. The more you understand God, the more free you become. And the less you understand God and the principles, the less free you are. Or more slave, I can also call it like that. Maybe that's more acceptable. And what God is actually the creator of everything that is normal or natural. I prefer to the word natural. So God is the natural creator. And just look around in nature and then you see everything that is natural. And there's also an anti-God. And the anti-God is creating everything that is anti-natural. It's very simple. And what is anti-natural? Anti-natural is that which is preventing the natural to exist. For instance, if you look at the company Monsanto, it makes seeds, and they prevent natural seeds to grow. That's anti-natural. That's the work of the devil. That's the anti-God or Christ or whatever. There will be much more like this. But that's just the basic idea. Yeah, there's natural, anti-natural, and there's also unnatural in the middle part. Unnatural is what we do. Yeah, this stage here is unnatural. We don't find it anywhere in nature. But is it anti-natural? No. It doesn't violate the rules of nature. So what we create can be unnatural. That's okay. But the moment we start to violate nature, that's where the problem starts. And that's what the Antichrist is doing. Yeah, you can use different names for both God and the anti-God. Doesn't really matter. The basic line is, this is the natural creator, and the other one is the anti-natural creator. So it's going against nature. So it's actually destroying the creation of God. That's what it's doing. And that's the whole idea, because the anti-God, the anti-creator, wants to show that he or she or whatever is more powerful than God. That's the whole thing. It's just a silly boys game. Who is more powerful? Or who has the biggest? Can I say that here? Yeah. It's a very simple childish game. And that's what it's all about. So we can choose. Either we are part of the creation of God, or we are part of the creation of the anti-God. You cannot be in the middle. You have to choose. The Testament, because we have a book, you can find it in any hotel room, it has an old part and a new part. And it's called the Testament. And what is a testament? A testament is a will. And what does the will say? The will says what will happen with the legacy of the one who created it. Well, the legacy of what God created is this reality, this world. So it's about this world. And we are entitled to have part of that. That's in the will. The original will was really strict. The original will said there are 10 rules. If you follow those 10 rules, then you are entitled to the legacy. Simple. But then it became clear that hardly anyone was able to follow those 10 rules. So there was a New Testament added to it later on. Yeah, if you obey the law, then you inherit the earth. It's literally there. Yeah, anybody can read it. So if you follow the 10 commandments, you inherit the earth. What more is there to say? But if you don't do that, then fortunately for us, because I also broke it many, many times, fortunately there's a New Testament, and that helps us to restore our natural birthright. And that's what the New Testament is all about. To tell you what you should do in order to get your birthright back. And it's very simple, it's just repent. But it has to be honest and sincere. But if you sincerely repent, if you fully are conscious of what you did, why you broke the law, then you can start again. And then you are entitled to the earth again. It's completely simple. It's a very thick book, but this is actually the main summary of it. The first 5 commandments, I don't like the word commandments either too much. They're actually more principles. The first 5 are about spirituality. So there are how to raise your consciousness all the way up to the highest level. And the second 5 are not really important for spirituality. They are really how to live on this planet. How to make sure that we can make it together, that we can live together on a planet like this. So these are social precepts. Yeah, if we do these 5, we don't get any trouble with anybody. Simple. And if we do these 5, then we raise our consciousness all the way to the highest level. That's what it's all about. This is the main structure. And I will go into each of those 10 one by one. First commandment, the literal text says, "Thou shalt have no other gods before me." Like it's a very jealous God. No, the whole idea of jealousy is not related to the real God. It simply means understand that there's only one natural creator. Only God is the natural creator. God makes the flowers grow, the trees grow, makes everything in the natural, makes the stars shine. Nobody else does that. So that's what you understand in the first commandment. God is one, and what is God? There's nothing before one. God is the first, and also the last, the Alpha and the Omega. So God is one. So in other words, acknowledge God as the prime creator. That's all. The prime natural creator. Don't put yourself in front of God, because that's not the correct way. God is first, and then everything else comes. So God is one. That's the first commandment. If you violate this, then you disconnect yourself from the natural creation. You don't get punished, because if you don't acknowledge God as the creator of the natural world, then you are not connected with the natural world anymore. So you punish yourself. Yeah, in the announcement you saw maybe this video, I explained this in much detail, but this is the cave of Plato. Yeah, the allegory of the cave. And there are 3 layers. The fire, the objects that blocking the light, and the shadows on the wall. Plato says we are living in a shadow reality. Yeah, all we see are the shadows on the wall. But they are not real, they are created. Yeah, I don't explain it here in full detail, but you can refer to the original world, the fire or the light as God. And the objects that are blocking, they are kind of spirits. The spirits are coming into this world and they create the third reality. The third reality is the physical reality. Yeah, we can touch it, we can hold it. That's the creation. So this is the world of a creation. This is the world of the creator, the one who is creating. And the process is in between. Just when you write a book, yeah, I've written that book. The book is my creation. That's here. I am the writer, I'm the author, so I'm here. And the process of creating, me behind my computer typing, that is the middle part. So everything that has been created, there is a process, was a process in front of that. And there's also somebody doing it. So the same is true for everything. And the whole of reality, God is the creator. So God is the father, you can say. Yeah, I am the intellectual father of my book. Because what is put in the book is my ideas. So I'm the father of the book, like God is the father of the creation. And the Son of God, is the creation of God. Each one of us, if you're all real true human beings and not kind of clone or any machine, then you are a son of God. Yeah? The whole of reality is a son of God. Like this is the son of me. If I'm the father, then that is my son. I also have two real sons, but human sons, but this is also a kind of son in the sense that I created it. Yeah, so it's just a metaphor. God the Father is the creator, God the Son is the creation, and the Holy Spirit or the Holy Ghost is the process. That's the true Trinity. The second commandment, a lot of words there, but it really comes down to do not copy the creation of God. Or in other words, God has copyrighted everything in the natural creation. So you cannot copy that. You cannot make GMOs. Simple. Cannot do that. Because that's a violation of this second commandment. God has the copyright and we should stay away from that. Don't mess with nature. God is also the law. That means what God gave to us, the 10 commandments, that's the original law. So everything what God said, that is lawful, and everything that man created is actually unlawful. Yeah, it's up to you. If you want to follow the laws in this country or any country, then you actually violate the second commandment. That's how I see it. So if I follow the law, then I violate the second commandment, I have to repent and I have to start again. Yeah, all legislations, all man-made legislations are nuts because there is a copyright on the law. There's only one legal law, one lawful law, and everything else is an illegal copy. Yeah, it's illegally downloaded from the Bible. It's not good. Yeah, natural being too. I'm a natural being, but I'm not a person. Yeah, a person or a law. How do you call it? Lawful person, a legal person. I think legal person is the right word. Yeah, it's a creation on paper with a number. We are not that number. We are not something paper-based. No, I'm flesh and blood. I'm a real human being. I'm created by God. But when you hold your passport or your driving license, then you show your person. Am I my person? I'm not my person. It's a big difference. Yeah, I even went that far that I sent a letter to the council what I was living in. I said, my person has now deceased. And then I said, yeah, well, we cannot put that in the system because we need a death certificate. I said, no, you didn't understand me. I'm a human being. I'm still alive, but my person is dead. Now, I couldn't deal with that. Yeah, but this is the truth, and everything else is a fiction. The legal person is a fiction, and actually a country is also a fiction. And people who wear uniforms and think that they have authority, it's all fiction. If you go along with that, then you might be screwed. Can I say that? People try to play the name game, say, oh, then I take a different name or whatever. This is not really helping. This might give you some empowerment. It might be fun to join this and write all kinds of letters to whatever, to the government or to the Pope. But it's not really helping because you still think that there, inside the paper-based system, there's a solution. There's not a solution. The solution is outside the paper. In the real world, in the natural world, not in the fictional world, not in the legal world. Yeah, so this is all fiction. But how do you live without this fiction if you get stopped or you want to take a plane? Yeah. Yeah, I've said Monsanto before, this is the worst company on this planet. It's the huge violation of the second commandment. But we do things like this, the Chimera project. Yeah, we combine animal DNA with human DNA, and then we get these kinds of monsters. We already do that. This is a clear violation of the second commandment. And then maybe it's already far further than here. And the whole thing of transhumanism, of course you know everything about it. Yeah, changing human beings into artificial life forms, little by little. Everybody now has a hand palm which is almost attached to the smartphone, but I don't think that's really a natural way to continue. Technology is helping us, but technology is not part of the natural world. We should focus on the natural world and take whatever tools we need or we can use, but don't let us be changed into machines. Yeah. Some say they're already in the vaccines. Yeah, nanotechnology, that they can influence your hormones, for instance. I don't want people to sting needles into my body, so I don't allow that. But yeah, maybe it's possible. Again, if you have high consciousness, then everything can be neutralized. But you should not be fearful of anything. The moment you bring your consciousness higher, you can change anything. That's the beauty. Fear is not an option. Fear is not necessary. Just be aware what is going on. Third commandment is the opposite of the second commandment. The third commandment says, do not put God, try to put God on your project, so to say. Don't make God do your work. That's the opposite. The second commandment says, do not copy God's work. The third commandment says, leave God out of it. Do your own work. Mind your own business. Can you curse? Yeah, you can curse. But don't bring God in it. If you say, God, please bring me to the damned world or something, then you ask God to do something. That's not good. Then you violate it. But if you're really frustrated and you say some harsh words, yeah, that's your business. So you can curse, but leave God out of it. Can you pray? Tricky one. If you ask God to do something in your prayers, then it's a violation of the third commandment. Yeah, if you are grateful for what you have received, then you can pray. But be careful if you ask something, because you should mind your own business. Yeah, third commandment, mind your own business. Do not drag God into your business. And the second commandment is, do not mess up God's business. It's really simple. Fourth one is, work your way up to the seventh heaven. Some people think you cannot work on Sunday or Sabbath or whatever. It's not about those days. It's about the days of creation. The seventh day is the highest day, is the seventh heaven. So the fourth commandment tells you, raise your consciousness to the highest possible level, which is the seventh heaven. That's what it's all about. If you want to work 7 days a week because you want to make a lot of money, your business. Yeah, rule number 3. If you don't want to work at all and you think the government should pay for you, it's your business. Neither one is a violation of this law. Just, it's about spirituality. Bring your consciousness up. Yeah? Normal people start here when they are born, but when you go to school, then you come here. Yeah, then you get brainwashed, and then you think that everything is normal, but it's not normal. That's the norm given to us by the structure. And then you have to come from 1 all the way up to 7. It's possible. Many people have done it. Many books about it. But it's your job. It's your task. That's the fourth commandment. Bring your consciousness up to the highest level. And then the fifth one, honor your father and your mother. That's not your biological mother and father. Of course, you should respect them and be grateful for everything they've done for you. But it's not about your biological mother and father. It's about your spiritual father and mother. And your spiritual mother is, of course, Gaia, Terra, our mother who we are living upon. And our spiritual father is the Father who art in heaven, which is the sun, Helios. So me is our mother, soul is our father, and if we honor our father and our mother, then we are already halfway. Yeah? By honoring our mother, we are here. By honoring our father, we are here. And then we just have to take 3 more steps and then we're home. That's the fifth commandment. It's just, the fourth commandment says, come home, and the fifth commandment says, please hurry up. That's all. Yeah? Honor your father and your mother, then you are quicker at home. So these 5 are just about spirituality. Have nothing to do with our social life here. But the other 5, they have everything to do with our social life. And if we follow these 5, then we not get into trouble. If I don't murder you and you do not murder me, well, that's a start. Yeah, then we can get along, I think, longer. If I behave morally, if I do not do to others what others don't want others to do to me, I think that's also really helping. If I don't steal your property, you don't steal mine, I think that will work. If I don't lie, if I'm always telling the truth, and if I do not try to convey what you have, yeah, this is of course the least violation, and this is the most heavy one. That's the ordering, from heavy to low. Do not kill, do not murder. If somebody tries to kill you and in self-defense you accidentally kill him or her, is that murder? To me not. To me that's self-defense. So if they try to kill me and I have to take lives of other people, which I can because I have many martial arts and so on, then I will use that. But not to kill, just to defend myself. So that's not a violation. Can I eat meat or dairy products? So everybody has to make his own decision. To me, that's murder. What we do in the bio industry is clear murder, to me. But you have to make your own decisions. Do not commit adultery. Yeah, actually it's behave morally. Because what is adultery? If you don't do to others what you don't want others to do to you, that's the simple rule here. Or even more simple, treat others as you would like to be treated. Be respectful. That's all. It's not about sexuality, this or that, or where to draw the line. No, the line is really simple. If you don't want others to do it to you, then don't do it to others. How difficult can it be? Do not steal. Yeah, what should I say about it? If it's not your property, don't take it. What is property? Everything who creates something has authority. So God is the creator of the whole of reality. Can I say this piece of land is mine? And if you come onto land, I'll shoot you with my gun? No. Land is not created by us. So how can we claim land? I think land should be free. The government should not claim it. It's ridiculous. And of course the military shouldn't claim it at all. Have you any idea how much percentage of this planet is claimed by military? It's incredible. 9. Do not bear false witness. Simply do not lie. Or in other words, always speak the truth. Also to yourself. Yeah, when I look at myself, I sometimes lie a little bit, yeah, to make myself a little bit better or this or that. But if you're really honest and you tell the truth to yourself, then you follow this law. So don't lie to others, but also don't lie to yourself. And then the 9th one, do not covet. Yeah, that's the step before stealing. Allow everybody to have his own happiness. If I see somebody I was on the highway and I see a really fast German cars coming by me high speed, am I jealous of those cars? No, I think I'm happy for them if they enjoy it. I hope they enjoy it. And maybe they have not paid it yet, but that's their business. But it's not that I don't want anybody else to have something not, or whatever. Everybody is entitled to the maximum, whatever everybody wants. That's not my business. I mind my business and everybody else minds his own business. So if I covet, I'm not minding my own business anymore. I'm suddenly minding somebody else's business. And that's also not a good idea, because you violate the 10th rule. Yeah, if you need something, create it. Everything is possible. Don't think in limitations, think in possibilities, because everything is possible. We can create. Just like God is creating, we can do that too. That's the beauty of spirituality. Maybe you've heard about the secret. The secret is true. It's not about ego things. It's about showing your right intentions, and then everything will follow. Synchronicity and all those things. It's all true. But you can create anything you want. There's no limit. So these are the 10 commandments. Has nothing to do with religion. These are just principles of this reality. So I can congratulate you all, because you now know the exit out of the hell, the lowest level. Exit is really simple, the 10 commandments. Follow them and you're out of hell. I think that's a really good idea. But you cannot force a horse to drink. So I cannot force you to leave hell if you are already in hell. I don't think so, because you wouldn't come to an open mind conference if you were still in hell. But yeah, maybe people at home watch this and think, what the hell is he talking about? About your hell I was talking. So you cannot make anybody become conscious. Yeah, I have the same experience as Frank with my family. when I start talking, also the mood is a little bit down, and they run away, and suddenly they do the don't want to hear you anymore, because they are not ready for it. So don't wait for them. Yeah, give them time to take their own time to develop. And if it's not in this life, maybe in another life. Why should we be the ones who decide how fast things should go? I was hoping 2012 would be the big change. Well, it's 3 years later, and not a big change has happened, as far as I can see. But there's small steps going, and more. So it's going on. But I'm a very impatient man, so it would have been, for me, it would have been good if it was 3 years ago already. So again, the book, if you want to buy it, you really support me. I don't get social, of course. I don't work. I don't pay taxes. I'm living completely off the grid. And the only way for me to make a living is by making you open your wallet and buy my book. So if you want to do that, I'm really happy. And I offer a special prizes conference. This is my website, my English website, holyscience.org. I have also a TV show. There are now 13 episodes, 2 hours each, which I explain many things. Hidden symbolism, which is also on this program. Also these 10 commandments, many things. So if you have 26 hours time left over somewhere the coming weeks, then you can watch these 13 episodes. And many of my books are also free on the internet. You can read them as a PDF. But the latest one, yeah, I have to make a living now. So I'm doing that. Yeah, I used to have a good job. I was a professor at a university in the Netherlands. And I decided I will not do it anymore. I just quit. Yeah, I took all my money from the bank. The bank didn't like me because when you bring in your money, they can multiply it with 10. Yeah, so that's the money game. But if you reduce your money, if you take it out of the bank, it's multiplied by 10 too. So it was a lot of money I got, but for them it was 10 times as much. So their faces were really not happy that I took away all that money from their bank. That's the power we have. We can change the system. The system is trying to keep us unaware of what is really going on. But the moment you flip it, yeah, then it becomes really fun. Yeah, there were people coming at my door and saying you have to pay this and you have to pay that. Then I made a sign before you enter my yard, and the sign says, if you come on my ground, it's not my ground of course, but I put it there. If you come, you have to pay a fine of 500 euros. And then somebody came with an envelope and in the name of the king or whatever, came to me and I said, did you read that sign? No, he didn't. So he went back and he looked at the sign, and then he didn't dare to come on my ground anymore. He stayed there with the envelope. Would you please? It's very silly, of course. I know it, but the pleasure it gave me to change that game. Instead of he trying to harass me, I was suddenly harassing him. It's not good, but it was so much fun. And yeah. I have also a website in 10 different languages, not in Danish or whatever, but yeah, if you read, for instance, German or French, you can also find a lot of information here. And yeah, and the Pateo TV is there too. I'm going to do now interviews with people, so if you have know somebody who's really interesting, or if you are really interesting, then if you want to be my guest and you have nice things to show, then you're most welcome to join me. It's live television on the internet. So I think this is also broadcast live, so it's the same thing. Thank you very much for your attention. Namaste. Thank you. Is there time for questions or we stop?
Thank you so much. So now we have a Q&A. So if anybody has any questions. Yes. Oh, see, Frank is coming there with a
microphone.
Mic.
Hi. Is it working? Hi. Thanks for the presentation. Very good. Have you read Anatoly Fomenko's books? About history, fiction, or science?
The name again, please.
Anatoly Fomenko.
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
Maybe you should Google up. I've started reading the 2 first books, and it's about our history in Europe that is pretty much falsified, and some of the things in Bible also. and not talking about what you're talking about here, but I think that you would find some very good, interesting information there.
Okay, yeah, my next book is about that subject and it's coming out next week, so I'll try to see if I can put it in. But indeed, the history is actually, the conquerors tell us what the history was, but that's not really a good representation of what really happened, so we all know that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bear with me. This one.
This one, yes. My name is Rimor, Rich Mother in English. And this was the most beautiful and positive lecture I ever heard.
Wow.
I'm moved. I should like to ask you, do you know the Danish science of spirit called Martinus? Do you know him?
Yeah, I've not been to the place, but I've seen his book, I've seen his work, and I've studied a little bit.
There's a lot like that. Yes.
Yeah.
And I think you know Bonacci.
Santos. From Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's still in prison at this moment, but
sorry. Yeah, for him. Yeah.
But he's trying. Maybe you're not sure. Santos Bonacci is very strong on sovereignty, but he refuses to pay his fines. But he fights the system, and if you fight the system, that's not a really smart thing to do, because the system will never let you win. So he's insulting them, and he's making a lot of fun videos. But the problem is he is now in jail for 42 days because he refuses to pay. And even if he comes out of the jail, he still has to pay. So I don't advise anybody to fight the system. Yeah, maybe in the beginning a little bit to show that you're really tough, but then find a different way to proceed, because the system will not allow one sheep to go across the dam, because then the system is lost, and the system is meant to survive, to sustain. So find a way to get around the system.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions?
In front.
Oh.
Yeah.
Over in front.
And thank you for your touching words.
Hi, my name is Ole Gerstrom. I can personally, from my own experience, confirm some of the things you're talking about. Like, I have developed my own meditation technique where I sort of get carried away and I get into things and stuff and meet various beings. And I can personally confirm that there are beings like Yahweh, Thor, Isis. I've been in contact with them. Also Gaia. Yes, I have. And my opinion about these, what you call gods with a little g, is that they can be powerful or they can degenerate and they can lose their power and they can be something just funny. Like Yahweh, he's just a bad picture of himself today. He's a nasty old guy without any power. But Gaia I have met. It lasted half a second. And in that half second, I would say everything about me was uploaded to Gaia, so he was just, or she was just briefed about me. And I certainly got this back. That was Gaia I contacted. Half a second and fantastic experience. Beautiful. So this is not just theory. I can confirm it's real.
Thank you. Thank you very much. But in general, everything is theory until you start putting it in your own life, into practice. So I'm sharing my understanding, but they are just words until it becomes your reality. And that's the main message of this thing. The 10 Commandments work for everybody, but only when you start to apply it in your life. And then you become truly free. I guarantee you that. Can you speak up, because the microphone is far away? Can you talk loud, or? Yes. Oh, sorry, you.
Yes, when it comes to religion, it's true that the Bible makes a great difference between man and women. Okay.
Depends on your interpretation. I don't see it in the Bible, but of course the Tanakh, and especially the interpretation of the Tanakh.
But I think it says that there's a difference between men and women, and the hair should be short on men and long on women. So it's nice. It's easy to differentiate between them. You should not try to make some kind of mixture. A man is a man and a woman is a woman in the Bible. Isn't that right?
I think there's a lot of fiction in the Bible as well. I think God doesn't mind how we dress or how we shave or whatever we do with our hair.
No.
Because we inside we are all part of the same reality. Yeah. And how we dress outside, it should not be offending anybody, I think. But for the rest, I don't think. Let me say it differently. There are essential differences between a female and a male, and you also have male females and female males. That makes it a little bit complicated, but you have different qualities, and I think you should use the qualities you have. And if a female starts to use male qualities which she doesn't have to do male work, that's not good, and the opposite is not good either. I think our society went completely wrong in saying that everybody should be able to do everything, because now we are getting everything is gray. So we had beautiful colors in the old days, because there are natural tasks for a female and natural tasks for a male. That's how I've been. It's not reactionary. It's not old-fashioned. It's honoring the creation and honoring our talents.
It's just why I'm asking is if you try to find pictures on the net, there's just one or two of Jesus with short hair, and everyone else has long hair, and I also watched a video. An American says that no one had long hair at that time. So
but to me, the whole idea of a historical Jesus is a myth. It didn't happen.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. But it doesn't mean that the New Testament is not really important, because the stories are extremely important, but the figure there is just as important as Harry Potter. Yeah, it's not about the figure, it's about what the guy is doing. And that guy is you also guy, girl. Yeah, it's about how we can repent. That's what it's all about.
I have been following a lot on that show, Ancient Astronaut. Many might know.
Ancient, sorry, I didn't hear the second word.
Ancient Astronaut.
Astronauts, okay, yeah.
And I find many parallels of your work to Eric von Däniken. Especially the part that you guys ain't saying that it is or is not. You say it might be, and that's what religion and politics really need to learn. That there ain't any specific things that is that not what you are saying as well?
Yeah, I'm really allergic to dogmas, and I want to build my house on rock. And when I look at the work of Eric von Däniken, I think he has a really good ideas, and I think some of them are true. But the problem is he is putting too much together in order to sustain his story, and there's a lot of things that are not true. That's a pity. But I think the main he sees all kinds of things that cannot be created by so-called barbaric species, barbaric human beings in the past. So there is some truth in it, but I don't follow his line of reasoning completely, and there are many others. Like Frank in the beginning said, there's a lot of disinformation in almost every camp, and it's about seeing the difference between the baby and the bathwater, or between the chaff and the wheat. So what the work of Van Deniken has some baby in it, but also a lot of bathwater.
Yeah, but just quickly, what I am learning from you and from Deniken is that all of humanity has to think that 50-50 instead of that or that.
Okay, that's what you mean, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's also a danger of going into the middle of the road, because there's the gray zone. So sometimes you have to speak out. You have to say, no, I stand for this, and I fully object to this. But of course, nobody has the whole truth. I pretend to have the whole truth, because that's why I call it holy science. But there are many subjects that are still not completely worked out by me, and other people have really important insights as well. So what I'm offering with holy science is a paradigm where everybody can bring in valid science and valid spirituality, and by that we can create the whole. But we do need to let go of the old paradigm, because the old paradigm is based on dogmas, on saying, on ungrounded assumptions. Yeah, the mainstream university science is based on so many ungrounded assumptions. We cannot build on that. That will collapse. That will tumble down. So, thank you. And I think some people want to have a break. Maybe one question more, then we should stop.
Yeah, I just would like to say I absolutely loved your presentation. I think you deserved a standing ovation, quite frankly. And if I get one later, I want to dedicate it to you as well, honestly. You bring up. You bring up so much that resonates with me personally, because the things that you're talking about, actually, when you apply them, and as you've said, if you apply these things, you will get this result. I have been applying those things for quite some time, and the blessings that have been showered upon me just can't even be counted.
Yeah.
And when you understand life the way I do, when you apply these types of things, you have to kind of smile and hope for the best of your brothers and sisters, because I see how they don't realize that they're their own liberator. We keep wanting a savior. We keep hoping somebody is going to, like Putin perhaps is the opposition to, there's always something out there that's outside of ourselves that might be able to save us from ourselves. And the truth is, it's all inside. It's all in there waiting for you. My question is, I've made a conscious decision to sort of not pursue the spiritual path in sort of terms that many in the so-called New Age movement and all this kind of stuff do. They get on such a high spiritual or ethereal level, or at least they think they do, that I believe you detach from the rest of reality for people. And I've made a conscious decision that even if I could do that, because I believe I understand the principles, if I wanted to just go and be Zen, I think that would be somewhat easy to do in terms of the way it's laid out. But in fact, you're detaching from the rest of your brothers and sisters. You're reaching a level where you won't even relate anymore, because the poor bastard who's living in Syria and is just around hell isn't really going to probably understand or relate very much to your high and mighty kind of ethereal spiritual evolution when they can't even take care of their family. Do you see some truth to that, some relevance to that, to kind of staying back on the ground with your brothers and sisters, even though they're in that state where they can't really liberate themselves just yet because the reality? Do you see that kind of detachment and separation, or do you see no contradiction in taking?
True spirituality is always based on rock, and everybody who's, like you're saying, is doing Zen all day. That's escapism. That's not spirituality. They go to a world inside their mind, and they think that's the reality. But you have to be grounded with both feet on your ground. That's why you're here in this physical reality. But the same time you're grounded, you can be like a tree and go high up with your understanding of reality. So true spirituality is just as solid as building a bridge, so to say. And that's New Age doesn't tell you that. New Age says, no, you don't have to think, you don't have to train your brain, you don't have to evolve. Just be positive and follow your feeling, and then everything will be okay. La 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 la. That's what New Age is telling you, but I'm telling you the very opposite. If you don't develop your mind, if you don't develop train your brain, you will not be able to reach high up. You need to climb the ladder, but the ladder has to be standing still. Yesterday there was somebody here fixing the light, but he nearly fell down because it wasn't standing stable. So if you want to climb the ladder, if you want to develop spirituality, make sure that it's grounded and stable. Otherwise you will fall down. Yeah. Yeah.
Just one last tiny question.
Okay.
In here.
Okay. Hello.
Hello.
My name is Yusri. I just have one short question. It's about Zecharia Sitchin, who has been making an investigation about the Bible too, and what a lot of people are ridiculing his ideas and hypotheses, but I find some of them very interesting, and it's especially the Jewish Bible he's been investigating. So what is your opinion about Zecharia Sitchin?
Yeah, when I studied this work, I fully went along with this story. And also in the Netherlands, there was a famous guy who also went completely with him. But the more I study myself, the more I see that Sitchin is actually a deliberate deceiver. He is connected with the Freemasonry, and he became a really popular writer. You know how hard it is for me to sell my books? It's very hard. Sitchin sold millions of copies in I don't know how many languages. He was a very successful writer. You cannot be successful in this reality if you don't play along with the people who run the show. That's really simple.
Very interesting.
And I have a video to prove that, and and much more. But the main thing is Nibiru, the planet, is Venus. Venus will not come back because Venus is in a stable orbit. So the whole idea that Nibiru will come back one day and all the Sitchin followers believe that, it's nonsense.
Okay.
I have a TV show about that of 2 hours. I explain it. I can give you the link if you want. But Sitchin is telling us half truth mixed with half lies. And that's what everybody's doing, because you cannot fool people with 100% lies. That's not working. You have to give them some truth. But then you add poison to the truth, and that's what he did. I'm sorry to say.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.